I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And bring us over to the Ford Library page. If as you come in, you may want to bookmark this page, or at least bookmark a link that we have to all of our databases, our A to Z list. So it's 5:01. I want to go ahead and get started. And those of you who've not met me before, I'm Jane Day. I am the Public Services Librarian at Ford Library. And I've been doing this workshop for many years. It focuses on a few areas. So I like to start with the basics, which is, just remember that there is a catalog out there, and it can help you locate either if you're looking for a certain book or you're looking for journals, that will be there. Whoops, hang on, let me do one thing. And to get out of this, leave. Okay. So we'll look at the catalog. Then I want to show you a couple of resources that are good for if you're looking at changing careers or you're looking for information on how to interview or networking. Vault is a good source, and then we'll also take a look at Interstride. Then we'll look at resources that we have to locate company information, and that includes being able to create a list of companies. So I've put a few in here. And last but not least, ways of going in and doing some research and being able to get news like from the Wall Street Journal. So let me start with the basics. A lot of times, if you are looking either possibly at a new career or you're looking to work for a specific company, we probably have a book that will help you. We have quite a few things in terms of helping you out on your career. So knowing to go in and use the catalog is a great start. If you have a company that you're interested in, by and large, if it's a large company, we probably have a book on them that's basically the history of that company. So it helps you to learn something about them. I'm going to type in Google. And I expect many of you are probably not in the area. You may not be coming into Duke at this time, or you're pretty far away. So one of the things you can do is you can always find books that are online. So to do that, you can come over to this left-hand column and see things like topic or type of material that it is. We're looking for things online. This is for people who can't get to the library, won't be here for a while. This is a good way to start. And you'll note with Google, they've got a lot that seems to be about maybe apps. And I don't know that any of you want to go around creating your own apps. You might. But if you go down to topic, you'll see that it links to the firm Google. And you'll look through here and see there's Google rules. Google's deep impact, Google income, a walkout. So those are some interesting things you might be able to find. If you have questions on how you can locate more of these items, feel free to reach out to me at any time. You don't have to feel like you've got to do all of this by yourself. I'm always available. So our next section is on Vault. And I've got a link here to Vault. You can find it from our database page. And down here at Vault. And it's right here. This is one of those resources that once you graduate from Fuqua, you'll still have access to it. With a lot of the databases that I show, you lose access once you graduate, but this is one you can keep. Just know that when you register for it, to use your DukeNet ID. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and log in. Vault is known for their sort of inside look at companies. They interview people who have worked there or continue to work there at that company, and they will give you insight on what it's like to work within that group. So their coverage is good on like banks, consulting firms, larger companies, law firms. So let me just type in Bain and click search. And there's Bain and Company. And you'll see they're listed as #1 in Vault's Consulting 50. You can link from there and see who the other people or other groups are within there. Best consulting firm for informal training and mentorship, and most selective. Then they give you uppers and downers, and I would say just about every downer with every company in here is long hours. And then they give you more reviews, so you can see what others are saying about working at Bain. You can also explore internships and jobs. And let's see. You can take a look at what it's like to do an internship at Deloitte. Vault is also very well known for their guides. So their interview guides. If you're in consulting, they will provide guides on that. If you are going into finance and you are looking at a quantitative finance review or interview, there are guides for that. And you can kind of see it broken down by industry. So we have commercial banking, sales and trades, top employers, finance interviews. And again, I think a lot of people come in here for their consulting view, interview guides, so the case interview. So that's Vault. And I apologize if I'm going through here rapidly. I start in on this and I can't stop myself. The next one we're going to take a look at is for our international students in particular. It's called InterStride, and it's of interest for those who are looking to work in the US as foreign nationals, or if you're here in the US and you would like to go work somewhere else. This is a great tool to use. It also contains a searchable list of companies sponsoring H-1B visas. So you can find this on our database page. You'll keep seeing me come back to this. And this tells you how you can go through and sign on for your account. I've already got it loaded and I have my dashboard up. And you'll see there's Jane Day. I've been in the library science field since 1985. I started when I was about 2, and I've been very successful in my career as a very young person. Anyway, you'll see they cover things like your network, and also jobs. So this is a great place to come in and say, I'm looking at the US, and I'm just going to say, search the top 500. So these are the job listings for the top 500 companies offering H-1B visas. I could further narrow this and say, I am only interested in California. Oops. And this will give me all of the jobs in California. You can also go in and say, I'm looking for full-time positions. And I'm specifically interested in anything in accounting. And here you'll see those jobs that are out there. So feel free at any point. Do I have any questions? I haven't checked on you guys recently.
I have a question.
Yes.
Real quick. When you joined, when you logged in into Vault, where did you log in from? Because I couldn't find it in the databases.
Okay. So let me start at the beginning. I'm going to go databases A to Z list. And then it's vault.com right here. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
For Interstride, you mentioned that it's really helpful for finding companies that sponsor visas. Is it also, could you also put for US citizens, like, I guess, citizenship status, and it shows that list, or is that just more useful for visa type of?
I have not tried that. This is a relatively new database, and I could probably go in and see if it would do that. Was Brian's on this Zoom, correct? From Career Services?
I'm here, but I was doing something else. I didn't.
No. Ryan, have you used Interstride to?
I used Going Global, which I know had that capability.
Yeah.
I know that Interstride did a student demo. What was it, last week? And I think there's a recording. I don't know if they went through that or not.
Okay, so it's something that I'll take a look at. We'll see if we can find that. Our next database that I'm going to take a look at is MarketLine, and it has been a workhorse for me for many, many years. Again, it's here on our database page, and you'll see MarketLine Advantage. I've already loaded it. MarketLine is great if you've got an interview with a company and you want to be able to go in and get sort of a 30-page dossier on that company. What they contain are companies, both US and abroad, and they tend to have very large companies. So you could go in and say, I'm looking at Merck. Just go up here, and you'll notice we have this all research. I like to go in and put this under company profiles. Otherwise, I'll end up being overwhelmed with the number of hits that I'll get in this database. So let's look for Merck & Co. Right here is the parent company. And when I pull this up, you'll see sort of the basics of them, what they do, where they're located. They also will include any deals that they've been involved with. So this would be their mergers and acquisitions deals. And they also provide SWOT analysis. So if you're interested in those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, you can find those here. With this database, if you want to download the whole thing, whoops, you can do that. And that's up here at export, and then you can just click the PDF icon and be able to pull this up. Know that MarketLine also includes industry information. So if you're going into an industry that you haven't worked in a while and you sort of want to catch up on it, or you're not familiar with it, this is a great place to come to. So you can go in and say you're interested in pharmaceuticals and healthcare. And these will be industry profiles from around the world. So you'll notice right here we have a global report on the healthcare equipment and supplies industry. If we want to, we can drill down a bit. So I can say, all right, in pharma and healthcare, am not interested in anything but drug manufacturers. Well, what did they do with my, for some reason they dumped me out of that. You'll also see like they have other areas, biotechnology. So if you're interested in biotechnology in China, you can go in and find that. This one also is available to you when you graduate, which is really great news. So this will give you an idea of that report. So our next group that we're going to look at is S&P Cap IQ. Some of you may have used Capital IQ in your previous position. It's one that's quite popular with our students. I tend to use it quite a bit because it gives you the ability to go in and create lists of companies. And it includes companies from around the world, both small and very large. You can find, I think you can find some like nonprofit companies within here, and some governmental agencies. So I've had luck finding a little bit of everything in here. So it is a database that you will self-register for, create your own account. And once you have done that, you can go ahead and log in to Cap IQ. Best thing to do is just go ahead and bookmark the Capital IQ site. Let me just pull up pull up a company for us. So this is Sprouts. And this is a publicly traded company. It's located in Phoenix. And I believe Cecil and I looked at this the other day. What you'll see with this is that they will include things like who their current and pending investors are, who are their prior investors. They will have some stock information here. We've got these investment research reports, but they tend to be coming mostly from one company. I'll show you in a little bit how you can go out and find investment bank reports. Here you'll see their financial information. If I click View Details, this will give me a 5-year look at their key stats, their income statement, balance sheet, all the way through their segments. If you want to see additional years, you can just take this scroll bar and pull it over. And this will allow you to look at the financials going further back. Another thing you can do with this is if you're interested in this kind of thing, let's say you want to know where they got this figure for revenue. You'll see this little pop-up box come up, and there's a link to revenues and then a link to their net sales. And this will show you where in that Security and Exchange report that number came from. So there's transparency within their reporting. And note, you can download this page or download all of the financials from here. Oops. Some other interesting information with Cap IQ, they'll include the biographies of the people who work for the company. So this is going to be C-suite. It won't be, it's not like LinkedIn. It's not going to give you everybody, but it will give you some information on who is there. And in some cases, they will include email addresses. You'll also see their index memberships. Last five key developments. So you see some earnings calls here, conference presentations. You can also get their last 5 transactions. If you open up to view details, if they had more than 6, say it's a large company that's been around forever, like Ford Motor, you can actually get them back to, I believe, the 1980s. So it's a very deep history on that. Over on the left, we have other types of information you can get on them. So if you want to know who Sprout's suppliers are, they'll include that. They'll also include who they have strategic alliances with and who their competitors are. You'll notice up here, this has where those competitors are found. So either the company has named them, the competitor has named them, or a third party has named them. So I'm just going to take out third party and click go and see what I get. So I've got a little smaller list here. As I mentioned earlier, I don't want to get too lost in the weeds here because I do love using this. They allow you to create lists. And with CapIQ, you can create a list of companies that might meet your needs when you're on the job search. So you can go in and say, I'm looking for all companies on the West Coast who do X, Y, or Z. That's one way of using this. You can also go in and search by people. So if you are looking for people who may have gone to the same university you went to, or possibly worked at the same company, and you want to try to create a network with them, you can do that with CapIQ. They also have this nice search tool for transactions. These are mergers, acquisitions. I think there's some PE and VC capital in here. And if you're interested in learning how to do that, let me know and I can work with you on that. But I am going to use companies, and let me start off with our geographic location. So let's say you are interested in pharmaceutical companies in Asia, or let's say in India. So I'm going to say India. I've clicked through. I'm going to click add criteria. Know that you can search by city. You can search by state. There's number of ways you can do this. So when I go in up here, you'll notice that I've got a few companies. And let's say it's now time to go in and select my industry. So I'm going to say industry classifications, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, and life sciences. So we've got 1,092 companies. I could continue to drill down. And one important thing to tell you, when you're drilling down and you are looking for a specific type of drug, what I tend to do is go into business descriptions, and this goes for the same for any type of company. So if you're looking at healthcare consulting, that's not going to break it down far enough for you if you're looking at just the industry. So you can go in and select consulting. But then if you want to make sure that they mention healthcare, search the business description. That is the best way to tease out those companies. So I'm going to say cardiac, and I'm hoping somebody within this group is going to mention cardiac. So we've got 26 companies now. I can click view results, and this gives me a table basically of everything I just asked it to do. So I found companies in India who do this and mentioned this. For most people, that's not enough. You need to add or edit the display columns. So I want to go in and say, all right, where are they located? So I'm going to type in address and select primary address. And actually, let me get this one. Put that over. Add columns. And to see all of these columns that you can select from, you can click Browse All Display. So I could go in and say, I want from their financial statements, revenue. So I'll go up to this, it's the Cap IQ financial statements, key financials, total revenue, and add that column. And you can continue to add columns in. You can add in key executives. But once you have everything you want, if you click View Results, you'll be able to pull up that table. And you can download this to Excel. I'm going to tell you again, this is one of your more powerful tools to go in and find companies. So enjoy it while you have it. Any questions on Cap IQ?
Jane, could you please tell us, you mentioned that it is possible somehow to find people or school affiliation. So it just, we will need to add additional columns and find these people. How would possible?
Well, what you can do, if you're looking for people, you know, like you want to go in and do a search for people, you're not interested in companies. You can go in under screening and say, whoops, let's screen for people. And I'll say colleges, university. Where did you go to school?
Fuqua.
Okay, so let's find everybody out there that went to Fuqua. And this again is going to be C-suite. Add that column. And we've got 1,428. I could then go in and say, okay, of those 1,400 people, how many in their professional job function are, let's see, I'll just stick with CEO. There's 203. When I bring this table up, it's a little more useful than our company table because it pretty much gives you what you're looking for. So you have the name. In some cases, you have the email address, you have what company they work for. And in some cases where they are have been board members or with a prior board. And again, you can download this whole group of people. Okay. Let me next go to, hang on, let me just move you all over here. And the next one we're going to look at is Mergent. The one thing I want to show you with Mergent, besides the fact that it's another one of those sources that you'll have access to when you graduate, not Cap IQ, but you will have Mergent. With Mergent, it includes InvestText. InvestText is a great source for investment bank reports. You can also search across many companies. You'll see we have US company database that's for publicly traded companies, both active and inactive. And they also have international companies, as well as the Dun & Bradstreet private company database. So I'm going to leave this as is. Just type in Ford Motor. It's a little slow today. And again, we're seeing the basics on the company, what they do, who the key executives are, with additional biographical information, key financials, some news and corporate events. They also have these different tabs at the top where you can go further into information about the company. So if you're interested in the history of Ford Motor, you can find that they were incorporated originally in Michigan on June 16th, 1903. You can also select the topics that you want to see. The tabs up here will, again, as you continue through, you can see equity pricing, you can get annual reports, the report builder and company reports. The main reason beyond, just taking a look at what they have available to you, just from a basic search, they also have an advanced search that you can go in and also create a list of companies. As I mentioned earlier, though, InvestText, the reason that you might want to take a look at InvestText is that these are going to be investment bank reports with information in them not always found in the news. So they're giving you a bit of a look inside the company. So I can go in and I'll use Ford again. Press enter. And I've got 1,300 matches, and this is for the last 12 months. Note that you can change the date range if you need to. And then I'm going to add the report style. So clicking here, I'm going to say I would like this to be an equity report. And just closing out this box, you'll see that it's already there. I'll click submit. If you're ever wondering how you can find like JP Morgan reports, Swiss Bank or Credit Suisse, and some of the other big I banks, this is a way to do it. And I want to find one that mentions Ford a little more. Okay, I'll take a look at this first one. So again, a great way to go in and take a look at the company and see how they're doing, what the word is on them with investment banks, and something to know whenever you're going, if you're ever wondering, do we have these? Yes, we do. And again, available to you when you graduate, which is pretty sweet. Our next one that we're going to look at is PitchBook. And I have a feeling some of you may have gone ahead and registered for PitchBook. This is a very, very powerful database for startups and also for deal data. We have this, but unfortunately, the company is very strict about downloading data within here. You can download 5 companies a day, or actually 10 companies a day, and up to 25 per month. So they're strict. If you are looking for these companies and some of the similar type of information that you'll see in here, you may want to jot that down and look at other resources that we have, like CB Insights and Privco. But if you're looking for information on private companies, let's say Rivian Motors Automotive, because I really am interested in the electric truck they have coming out soon. And I'll click them on. And here you'll see a profile of the company, including their timeline, who they are, what they do. They will give you information on the number of employees they've had over the years, what PitchBook has to say about them, their contact information. So here we have their CFO plus her email address. Some of their competitors. And there is their current team and their board. And then you start getting into their deal history. So if you want to, if you have a company that you're interested in, you can just type it in up here. If you are interested in working, say, on either working with a startup, or if you're looking at working with a PE company, you can go in and create lists within here. So let's say they're PE and VC backed. I'm going to go crazy here. You'll see all business statuses. So let's select profitable, privately held, and let's say their industry. Over here we have their verticals, and we can also dig through here. I'll just say, let's be wild and select cannabis. Profitable cannabis companies. I'm going to click search. And here we have those companies. I love the name of this, Stink Sack Stack. Stink Sack. Awful name. If we take out profitable, let's see what we end up with. Probably going to get more than 4. Yes. Okay. Any questions about PitchBook?
Yeah, I'm sorry if this has already been asked, but how can we access PitchBook?
When you want to sign up for it, go to our database page and you'll see PitchBook here. And this tells you how to create your account.
Okay.
Read this carefully because a lot of people get caught up, I think, with the VPN connection. But once you're in, you're in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The last thing I want to mention would be news. A lot of times we hop onto Google and we type in whatever newsworthy event happens. And I am guilty of it myself, even though I look at Google as being sort of the bane of my existence. With our resources, know that you have things like ABI Inform or Factiva. You may have used something like Nexus Universe or Nexus Uni when you were in college. These are great resources to go to and find the most up-to-date news on a company that you can actually link into without getting a bunch of pop-ups or having to subscribe to the service in order to read it. I will quickly show you. Oops. ABI. And you'll see ABI Inform is business news, scholarly, and industry trade publications, or their articles. It contains the Wall Street Journal, as does Factiva. So I'll say we're interested in Rivian. as a company. And I'll say their truck. And we'll see that Ford has invested $500 million in Rivian. Right now, this is sorted by relevance. I want to go to the most recent. So we can take a look at that. If you don't know already, you also have access to the Wall Street Journal app. So WSJ.com, if you click through here, this will show you how you can go in and create your account and be able to download the Wall Street Journal to your phone or tablet. And last but not least, you also have access to Barron's.com. Those are the only two that we have a deal with publisher to allow you to use their app or use their website. So we don't have the New York Times, we don't have a lot of others. And unfortunately, due to the current economic situation, it's going to be a while before we can get anything new like that. Okay, I'm going to stop my share and ask if I've got any questions.
Yeah, I'm graduating this spring or May, and is this going to be available later after or only until I graduate?
Actually, let me show you where you can find out that type of information. So when you graduate, you will have access, I'm at the Ford Library page, you'll have access to some of the databases. Up here along this blue bar, you'll see alumni databases, and this gives you a list of those things that we have been able to work with the vendor to allow you to have.
Okay, and if I'm interested in finding any jobs in like the National Health Institute, NHI, how would I be able to do that?
I would say taking a look, either possibly Vault. I'm not really sure, since they're a governmental organization, there's probably a way of going to their website to see what's available. You may want to speak to your career counselor and ask them if they have any tips on pursuing that. Speaking of which, if you need help, you can always find me either by chat. We're available Monday through Friday from about 8 a.m. to around 6. You can also email us at reference-librarians@Fuqua. And last but not least, we're right here. You can find me under the staff directory. Last but not least, I keep saying that, but do sign up for our newsletter and follow us on social media. It will help you find out when we've got new stuff or we've got tips for you. I don't have any more questions. I'm going to let you guys go a minute early, and hope you all have a wonderful evening. Get out and enjoy what beautiful daylight we have. And
one question.
yes.
Yeah, sorry. Could you please tell us, will this recording be available somewhere, and where we can find it?
This recording?
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to send out the link as soon as it's loaded. And with that, I'm also going to attach those slides.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
For helpful.
Sure. All right. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
One more question, if you would.
Oh, yes.
Do we, and I think I asked the library this when I first got here, do we have access to Stata? It's a